Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. How did Claressa Shields end up with her back against the wall? No more excuses, man. Can she save her legacy? Her legacy seems to be in tatters right now. But that's a real question. How did she end up with her back against the wall? Because to me, she's in a horrible space. Now, let me just point this out. With Claressa Shields, it's like a strange contradiction. You know, you take a look at her. Few fighters in boxing history have done what she's done. You know, they got the 2 Olympic gold medals, just all the accolades, you know, and no matter what you like, she's a part of American history when it comes to sports, American sports history. But she remains to be one of the most divisive figures in the sport. And to me, that creates a fascinating contradiction. You know, before I used to say this, man, with those type of accomplishments that she has, Claressa had universal admiration, especially when she was doing the MMA thing. Even though she's 1-1, you can't knock her for losing, right? Most people wouldn't even do it. And the one she lost, she did touch up the girl a couple of times, but that ground game is different. But in Claressa's case, right, the accomplishments are respected, but the public image generates debate, and that's why everybody's talking about her. So if you're a Claressa Shields fan and you got to ask why people talking about her, well, then, you know, you probably had a big bowl of dumbass for breakfast. And to that I say, in the most respectful way, to you, McNicholas, hold your horses and stop taking it to the stupid. If y'all still don't know why people talking about Big GWOAT, man, please, then y'all lost. And whether that shit that I'm talking about is fair or unfair, the perceptions attached to the Big GWOAT brand. But she wanted to become the person that you love to hate. Every sport has athletes who are polarizing, not just boxing. Sometimes it's because they win too much, because they talk too much, or because their personality rubs people the wrong way. Now, for the observers like myself, Claressa has gradually become boxing's most controversial female figure, probably boxing figure, period, whether male or female. And it's because of the things that I point out and what the ladies on my channel point out when we talk during the lives. She's always bringing a new headline. Every month, some new argument, even to the point where you saw what happened when things escalated with her and AB. Every controversy has been overshadowing her accomplishments. It's to the point to where this girl she could be sitting there drinking water. Be like, well, that ain't alkaline. Oh, she drinks spring water? Ain't purified. Man, please. Papoose, they talking about what kind of water I drink. But I'm telling you this, right? The criticism is there, but that's what she wanted, man. She wanted to be the villain. But see, the perception becomes a reality in sports, and that's what she's dealing with. And I know she doesn't like it. Now, this thing about sponsorships, right? People left some comments who were asking me, and I got a few texts about why doesn't she have sponsorships? To be honest with you, I don't know, because I have no idea what's going on with her and all that. But I'll tell you, nothing's been announced, and it's probably not ever going to be announced just because of everything she has going on with her, man. That's, you know, takes away from all the greatness about her as a fighter. But I understand why people would hit me up and ask me that. They're like, yo, Claressa, with all those accomplishments, such a long list of accomplishments, where are the massive endorsement deals? All of her accolades, Hood, you would think them gold medals would attract corporate interest. I'm like, yeah, I agree. I do think that it's gotten the attention of different corporations. 100%, I believe it. They're like, well, what do you think happened? I said, I don't know. They're like, yo, she's a multi-division champ. What about that? It should help. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it has. She's one of the most recognizable females in the world. That should help. I'm like, yeah, it's brought some attention to her. They're like, but she hasn't reached the endorsement level that many expected. Why do you think that? I said, you asking me? So you must not follow the channel. You know what I'm going to say. Attitude, attitude. Can't be out here taking it to the stupid and think sponsors are going to want to really get behind you. Sponsors ain't just trying to buy no talent. Oh, this person can ride a bike. Oh, they can fight. Or they can shoot a basketball, throw a frisbee. Oh, they can ice skate. Oh, they can drive a race car. It's more than that. And I've talked about it. You got to have some kind of stability, man. Some kind of public appeal. You got to have something. And you sure as hell can't be unpredictable. You know what I mean? You got a company out here wanting to invest millions in somebody. They need confidence that the athlete's going to represent the brand positively. You know, Claressa, who out here do you think, right? What corporation do you think would want to get involved with Claressa Shields? Don't get me wrong, the gold medals, the visibility, the championships, you know what I mean? I am sure, I don't want to give y'all too much because y'all know Hood Champion be having little inside scoops on shit. But I'll tell you this. This is a fact I'm about to tell you. There have been corporations that have wanted to reach out to Claressa Shields. But once they saw the stuff she was doing, this has nothing even to do with her being with her man. Pat Poos has nothing to do with that. They just saw the way she was conducting herself in the behavior. And they were like, You always say, Hood, how you been doing this? Don't worry about how I know things. Because to be honest with you, you don't know me. It's like I don't know you. You just see this guy come out here and run his mouth on the fucking camera. I am telling you, she has missed big time opportunities. And before, I used to always wonder, when she first turned pro, I'm like, what this girl should be seeing there? But then you start to see, right? Yo, she kind of a little bit chippy. Bad attitude, bad energy. And then you see where we're at right now with her. I totally understand. And when people were dropping these gems on me back in the day about her, it's a while ago I started hearing this. I was like, yeah, I don't know about all that. But they were telling me. But now, you know, fast forward to where we are now, I totally understand. And you just got to understand, corporations become cautious. They'd be that way with me. When controversy becomes attached to public figures. It's like we talked about in the live, like, I don't think it was like 2 months ago. It's just like you having a child, son or daughter, and they come home one day and there's a family up the road. Cops are always at their house, some kind of domestic shit going on. Then all of a sudden your son or daughter, you see them, you know, hanging out there in front of the house with the family's children. You, with the quickness, you're going to be like, hey, don't go up there. But like, nah, well, mom and dad, they cool, man. Nah, man, you're thinking. Like, nah, fuck that. Don't go up there. Them people is bad. Those right there, a bunch of it is bad people. Get the fuck away from them. I don't want you around that house toxic. See the police coming through there, everything, some domestic shit. I don't want you or none of y'all associating with them people. What the children got to do with that? What I have to tell you? Shut up and do what I told you. Same thing here with Claressa Shields. In these companies. Somebody could come out and tell, man, well, you know, she eyed and she this and that. They'd be like, Too much drama attached to her. Just like that house up the road. It ain't hard to understand, you know what I'm saying? People become cautious when controversy becomes attached to anyone. You talking about public figures, well, that explains why there's no real large corporation behind, chasing behind her. You know, so just consider this. She's had several missed opportunities because of that bad attitude. Her team have taken her the wrong direction. Now she's there with her back against the wall. You know what I'm saying? Let's just understand this. I'm really looking at women boxers. Claressa, I mean women athletes, right? I ain't lying, man. She probably could have become the most marketable female athlete ever in the United States. Maybe even in the world, but definitely here in the Los Estados Unidos. She could have been that, but that legacy is out there. Back is against the wall now. You just got to understand the story. A lot of people, I ain't worried about those people, but what I'll tell you is her being from Flint, Olympic champion, what she's accomplished, her story, man, where she came from, overcoming adversity. I mean, that shit sells itself. That's why she has a movie, but that movie didn't bust the way it was supposed to. That shit didn't blow up the way it was supposed to. And that's because, I think it's because 100% because the messaging around Claressa Shields has shifted away from inspiration and towards conflict. You know what I mean? She is under a microscope right now by everybody. The only way I think she can come from underneath that microscope and to get these large corporations who are very hesitant on working with her. Matter of fact, the doors have closed. But if she wants the doors to reopen, I think with her back in that corner, she need to lock in this next training camp because her next fight may be the most important fight of her career. She cannot afford to lose, which I don't see her losing. She's got to win, but winning just won't be enough. It just won't be enough, people. She needs more than that. Her team needs more than that. But unfortunately, them people, I don't know what they're doing with her. To me, they've ruined her career. That's just my opinion. But she needs a statement victory, dominant performance, and I think more than anything, she needs a knockout. Not because knockouts define greatness, but because she needs a moment that shifts the conversation back to boxing. It's easy to sit here, man, and talk about the stuff she's doing, and I see a lot of people have things to say about her, and they may, they do what they do, I ain't saying I'm no better than anyone else, but I don't go as far as some of these people. I like to talk about this shit because it's boxing. But I will tell you, man, if she can come out here and get a big win, knockout especially, the conversation will shift away from all the drama and all the bullshit back to boxing. But people will still twist and be like, oh, Claressa gets a knockout. This is her fourth knockout. Yeah, she should have had one a long time ago, blah, blah, blah. They'll still find a way to throw shade at her getting a knockout. But you know why? It's because fans want action. They don't want words. They don't want words. They're tired of the bullshit. You know what I mean? They don't want to hear interviews. They don't want to hear the lives. They're like, we don't want to hear it. You bragging or you trying to explain something. We don't want to hear you arguing. All this back and forth on social media. Just shut up and perform. And I think that's the quickest way to silence critics, is just show excellence. Not this gold excellence or black excellence or GWOAT excellence. Nah, we're talking about excellence as an athlete, as a human being inside that boxing ring. But I'm telling you right now, people, social media is the problem because she's addicted to that shit. And observers are skeptical about Big GWOAT. I know she's back in training camp. That's why, she kind of gone quiet. Word is she got this trainer. People sending me messages and shit, and I see it, and I'm like, all right. But they've been talking about this for the last month and a half on my channel. Big, strong trainer, man. I remember when the women started bringing that up like 2 months ago, maybe. So we've been talking about it. But it looks like, Claressa is going to work with this individual. So the stuff they were saying from a couple months ago, it looks like that's the direction she's going to go. I'm telling you right now, this is the training camp that she needs with promise of focus. She needs to have a promise of focus to the fans because right now a lot of people are just unconvinced. But consistency creates trust. But also consistency in the wrong things can create distrust and fatigue. And that's where a lot of people are when it comes to Claressa. They want to see Weeks of discipline, not weeks of turmoil. Months of discipline, not months of drama. Entire camp of discipline, not you just showing up random places and deciding you're going to put the woke beans on everybody. You just can't promise. You know what I'm saying? You got to do the business. And observers are always going to say, we'll believe it when we see it. And that's kind of how they are when it comes to this training camp. You know what I'm saying? How many lives she going to do? You know what I mean? She going to come out there now and be hitting the heavy bag and got the fire alarm going off and shit, need the battery changed, and like what, she going to do more shit like that? You see? And you know what's crazy? Social media has become part of the story. Like we sit, like listen, I'm listening to myself right now. I'm like, what the fuck am I talking about? Like even I feel like I'm taking it to the stupid, but it's the truth. This is what she does. Big GWOAT, 2 gold medals, big badass fighter, man. All that potential just trashed for some stupid viral moments on social media. But I try to watch what I say because, not because I'm scared, I really don't give a fuck. It's because I understand I'm 51 years old. She's 31. And a lot of these athletes, man, I even like with Keyshawn Davis. I like Keyshawn. I like his brothers. But you know, I come down hard on him with it be a bit immature and the bullshit he does in the ring. But that's what happens when you got someone, you know, who got a whole lot of experience and who has been there, done that, got the t-shirt and has done far worse than the shit he's doing and probably has done. Far worse. You know, sometimes we sit back and we understand, but we can be some of the biggest critics. But it comes from a place of, I ain't gonna say love because I don't know these motherfuckers that love them, but we want you to do good, you know. But sometimes our delivery is very welcoming. Other times you ain't gonna hear it because it come out raw and uncut, straight no chaser. You know what I'm saying? But social media has become part of her story. She consumes way too much of it. Everything about her is attention. She talking about the critics, the creators, the rivals, internet disputes, who's doing what, who can fight, who can't fight, who sold out 5,000, who sold out 7,000. Everything, man. It just becomes talking points that are larger than her upcoming fights. And that to me can be dangerous. Just look at her last fight and all the bullshit surrounding that. Nobody wants to see that with the next fight that she's going to have. You understand? Just like fighters only have so much energy, fans only have so much energy. The more energy spent fighting online battles, the less energy available for the actual profession. And you got fans and Claressa who go back and forth. And I do believe the internet's getting the best of her. And that's what I said, this fight that she's preparing for is the most important fight of her career. We're going to see just how much the internet has affected her. They can say, oh, it doesn't bother her. That shit bothers her. That's why she out here talking about her looks and stuff like that, you know, more than ever. Now, people are talking about this. Possible future opportunities with major platforms. Now, she's with Demetrius Salita. She fights on DAZN. But a lot of observers are speculating that, you know what? ESPN, Netflix MVP, that she wished she was over there. Now, I haven't heard her say that. The only thing she says when it comes to MVP and all that, basically, she makes it sound like they're not qualified and they're not good enough and win records is superior and she making more money, she has more flexibility, she's the cash cow. But with us, for obvious reasons, we believe that if she would have signed with MVP, that platform has more capability to create massive visibility than Win Records and Salita. I'm not saying they can't create visibility, but we're talking about massive visibility. MVP, Jake Paul, and Nikisa, she could have been there. And I believe 100% that she, deep down, she thinks about it. But I can't see her, at least in the near future, being on Netflix, working with MVP, working with ESPN, or any other major boxing entity. I just don't see it. But the fact that it's some rumors that she may still want to get over there and fight on ESPN and get a little bit of that visibility from MVP. Some people are saying, "Oh, that shit is desperation because her and her team ain't winning." You know what I mean? Everyone is going to interpret rumors differently. But I think the argument goes something like this. If those relationships were easy to make, why haven't they already happened? That's all I'm saying. Again, whether the criticism is fair or unfair, it exists. And remember, perceptions drives a lot of the conversation, especially for me. Large platforms matter. Major platforms matter. Television and streaming exposure still matter. A great performance on a major platform can change the public perception quickly. Sport fans are willing to forgive and move forward when athletes perform at an elite level and show that they have the right attitude and they say the right things. Fans will turn. They will they'll put you, they'll be back in good graces with you. But her being on the zone, that ain't enough. And there's nothing wrong with the zone. But if she would have been on ESPN or had a fight on Netflix, that right there would be what she needed. But again, the attitude it's resulted in doors being closed. Many fans no longer, talk about her ability. It's all about the drama. But they're also looking right now because you look at what Alicia has going on, what the ladies at MVP have going on. You can see what Jake Paul and Nikisa are doing. They got a plan. You know what I'm saying? Like you can say what you want, but you can see that they have a plan. Like they really have a plan. But when they watch Claressa and her team, they're questioning, decision making. What is she and her team trying to do about her public image? Put a bunch of wigs on her? Put a bunch of weave in her hair? Put a bunch of makeup and fake eyelashes on her? Put her in all these goddamn brown fur, green fur, tangerine colored fur, all these different furs and all this bullshit. That public image stuff they trying to create, that ain't it. But it creates a different challenge. Because you can defeat an opponent, but you can't punch your way out of a reputation problem. So no matter what her team has tried to do or continue trying to do, she has a reputation problem. And that's all bad. Because attitude affects everything. Everyone knows on my channel I talk about it. Because y'all always hear me saying attitude, and all that bullshit. But the wrong attitude or the right attitude can influence sponsorships, business opportunities, relationships, fan support, and media coverage. Eventually, every athlete reaches a point where talent alone is not enough. Public perception begins influencing opportunities, and Claressa Shields is in this position right now. That's why she needs a big knockout. She needs a big knockout. One big knockout, one night, one fight, she can change everything. Sports history is filled with redemption stories. Claressa could have the redemption story. And plus, I'm going to tell you, fans are surprisingly forgiving. When you have an athlete like Claressa Shields who finally starts to show the maturity, show the discipline, shows accountability, delivers great performances, then people start to reconsider their previous opinions. Just how it goes. So to me, the fight path forward is actually simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Just stay focused. Avoid distractions. Commit fully to camp. Perform at a high level. Let the performance speak. But I'll be honest with you, man. As far as that path being forward, she may need to just get rid of her team. And that's just my opinion. Will she? I doubt it. But that's just what I think. Get rid of your team and just reset. Completely reset. Clean house. Because she's going into, I feel, the hardest fight of her career. And the opponent isn't the ring. At this stage, with everything she has going on, Claressa's biggest challenge is not another fighter. It's the public perception. It's trying to rebuild trust. And it may be convincing people that she's committed to letting boxing, not controversy, define the final chapter of her career. So she can try to convince us all, but she can't convince herself. She's actually got to go out there and do the business. Anyway, whether people support Big GWOAT or criticize her, one thing is difficult to deny. She remains one of the most accomplished female fighters ever. The question now isn't whether she can win another championship, whether she can reshape how people feel about her, how people are going to remember her. Because championships are greatness, but legacy is ultimately determined by what good people remember after the final fight is over. Legacy is ultimately determined by what people remember long after the final fight is over. Anyway, back's against the wall. The public has completely given up on her. Can she get them back on her side? I don't know. We got to wait and see, don't we? Anyway, no more excuses. Better save that legacy. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.